morning, good morning, good morning. Why is everyone tripping out over AMC again? Got it. Good morning, everyone. Let's post a message and tell everybody that we are live here. All right, let's see. Just spamming the at everyone this morning. Good morning, Henry. Good morning, Mr. Needham. Good morning, Nancy. Smash the like button. Good morning, Joshua. Good morning, Mackenzie. Good morning. What's going on, big dog? Good morning. Where can I see the short volume? You can use FinWiz to figure out the short percentage. Let's go. All right. So, this AMC is making a move today. But he's talking about AMC. I think I saw a bunch of videos on this thing about squeezing today. So, probably got room towards that $13 area if it does decide to move. Let's see. Good morning, Edgar. Good morning, Vishnu. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, San. Catalin. Morning. Huda, good morning. All right. So, let's wait 2 more minutes and then we will get right into it. Just gonna wait for a few of the people to kind of tune in here. Let me get Jemiah off my charts. Good old Jemiah. I love the fact that I bought more Jemiah yesterday. So, here we are. Let's clean up our SPY chart so we can see what we're looking at. And then we'll get into it, man. Stocks during the day, crypto during the night, Ali. Oh my God. I don't even know what you got me involved in. This is going to be interesting. Talking about that, let me check my Trust wallet here. Oh, what do you know? Safe Moon is not as bad as it was last night. Yeah, Ken's is a bad influence. Ken's got me involved in crypto. So now I am hooked. Y'all gonna be seeing me making comments and posts about crypto on a Saturday, Sunday now. Insane. All right, guys. So it's 8:35 a.m. Let's get started here, and we'll take it from there. All right. So first and foremost, obviously everybody knew moving into this day that we are extended into the market and we expected a pullback. All right. We got that little pullback here. Obviously not towards that 20-day moving average. However, strength came in and we saw a pretty strong day yesterday. Everything in the sector was green. Everything across the sectors were green essentially, and that's where we ended up. Currently sitting at pre-market at around 415.80, and trying to push higher. All right, so all-time highs here is what, 417.91, and we're sitting right under that. All right, so let's take a look at a few levels here. What are we looking at? Obviously we have support down here at the 410, pretty obvious. We hit there and we bounced. Let's take a look at a closer time frame, and we see that we also have support here, right? 414-ish area, and this right here, this 416 416 area is going to be the area that the SPY needs to get above. All right, if it gets above this level, obviously a retest of the 417.90 is in the works. Fail to do so, probably come back down to the 414 and possibly 410. All right, so if we push strong out the gates and hold above the 416, the chances of pushing all-time highs is very highly probable. All right, as far as the QQQs goes, let's take a look at the QQQ. This is all right. So the QQQs here, obviously same thing. Two pullbacks the last few days. Strong day yesterday. All-time highs here is sitting at 342.23. Let's take a look at the closer time frames. Again, same thing, right? We kind of have the similar area. We have an area that we need to get above in order to retest highs, right? So they're kind of moving very hand in hand together, the SPY and the QQs at the moment, right? If we can get above the 340, possibility of a push to the 341, 342 area is definitely there, which will ultimately get us to the all-time highs, right? But we need to get above that. Fail to do so will bring us all the way back down to the 337 area, and then possibly 334, okay, which is going to be the vital area on the QQQ. So those things are kind of things to kind of look for. The pivots are going to be the main things. 339 on QQQ, and then the SPY is the 416 area, right? It needs to kind of push above and clear in order to stay above that. Right now it's showing pretty decent strength. So we'll see how it opens up. If it opens up and just falls right through, then obviously we know that it wasn't ready and it's probably going to have a hard time getting above it. But if it shows strength, then we're looking at pretty good price action, hopefully to the 417 area. What I don't want to happen today is that we just get stuck in this range and just go sideways, because that's going to be boring and it's going to be hard to trade in that range. All right. As far as some of the things that are moving today, let's see here. I think obviously skills has just been continuously steamrolling. And I believe Kathy Woods stated that she bought more shares, or she bought more shares of it. Let me see what the news was exactly. So Kathy Woods discloses 5 million shares of skills bought. All right, so look at this. This volume yesterday, 75 million shares, or how is it? 91 million shares traded. Right, huge engulfing bar. Did not expect this to make it all the way up here, to be honest with you. Almost at $20 now. It's sitting at $19 currently pre-market, right? So clearly we can see that the pivot right here is a 2040. If this thing can get above that, it could possibly push to the 23. But first and foremost, it needs to get above that, right? But it's super extended right now, right? So people who took it long yesterday are probably going to try and take profits in the morning before we see another curl around and attempt at the 2050, because it's going to be very hard for this to just push right above and break the 2050 and continue higher. It's going to get exhausted. And the other one that was FSR, unfortunately, this thing gets upgrades and downgrades like it's nothing. So it got downgraded by Goldman Sachs now. So B of A comes out with an upgrade and like a $30 price target, or 30 and change, and then Goldman comes out with a downgrade on the damn name with a $10 price target from 15. So Goldman's a little bit weird. They usually tend to downgrade things so they can pick them up at a cheaper price. That's usually what happens with them. Netflix as well. Kathy Woods obviously disclosed more of this buying, but like we've seen in the past months or so, every time Kathy Woods buys, she tends to be in the red, but she isn't in the long term. So she's looking at investments that are gonna, reap rewards in 4 to 5 years, not a few months. All right. So that's as far as these few names that are running today. There's another one, I believe it's TDC. This one's, or is it RNLX? RNLX is another one. Yeah, this is another interesting one. So major level at the $32 area. Above that, pretty much nothing really there. So keep an eye on this one. Loses the 30, it'll probably come right back to the 27 area. Above the 32, will make a nice move to the upside. All All right. That's as far as these names goes. Other than that, keep your eyes on the SPY. Make sure you understand those pivots, and if we can get above them, bullish or bearish, etc., etc. All right. So if you have any questions, let's take a look. We have Justice spamming the chat about Cron. So let's take a look at Cron here. I'll take a look at the daily. So Cron, again, I believe this is, I'm pretty positive this is in the wheat sector. Anyways, coming down to the 200%, 200 moving average here. Another area that I've discussed multiple times. It's going to see some buying pressure. But as far as support and resistance goes, this thing has room to come down to the 690 area. Not much buying volume on the trampoline bounce off of this 200 moving average, so it's a little bit worrying there. Ultimately, this could pop up towards 860 and then roll over towards that 690 area before finding a base and going higher. Again, all these wheat stocks kind of look like this currently. Sorry, I said DL, SOS. They're all very similar. Fubo and Neo. Neo, obviously, I think everyone knows what I think about Neo. Neo, I think, will continue to move higher. This Fubo chart of mine looks like a disaster. Anyways, I tend to clean up my charts every now and then. But for you guys' purpose, I'll wipe everything here. So Fubo, trying to find some base here. So that 1750 area, I found some base. Really, for this, it needs to reclaim the 2020 area and get back above the 20-day moving average. You see, it's clearly using that 20-day moving average as resistance, but now we are under the 200-day moving average. So the major moving averages are now above, which is going to act as resistance. So we need to get above this 2020 area. Was a major number for Fubo. Needs to get above that, needs to get above 200, needs to get above 20-day moving average in order to see any sign of good buying happening. All right, it's not a good look currently for Fubo. And let's take a look at NKLA, right, under the moving averages, pushed up, used the 200-day moving average as rejection. When stocks get under these 200-day moving averages, it becomes really hard for them to kind of find their balance again, right? Here we go again, getting under here, using it as resistance, tried to pop back up, struggled. So Fubo is kind of in that same category right now, just struggling. Got under that 200-day moving average, really needs to reclaim those, at least the short-term moving averages, in order to see anything higher here. Welcome. Thoughts on VIAC doing a reversal? I don't really see much of a reversal in it. I see a very super extended move to the downside, but it really depends what you consider a reversal. So we had 37, or I had 37.36 as support drawn on VIAC, and that's exactly where buyers came in. That's where it bounced, right? Positive side on this is that it's now above the 200-day moving average again. If it can maintain this move, it's got to get up to 45 and then ultimately 47.50, which hopefully, if it does not reject, then at that point above the 48 is really when you're going to start seeing a reversal or gap fill to the upside. Otherwise, if it rejects the 20-day moving average, it's just going to roll over. Can you take a trade on this? Yeah, you can. You can trade this from here. You can get entries anywhere like maybe 40, 41, with stops at around 37, in hopes for you to make a move towards the 45, right? So that's the only short-term trade in it that I see right now. Jumaya is a buy now, bro. I added Jumaya yesterday, so anything closer to the 200 moving average on long terms for me is a buy. So Jumaya hit that 200-day moving average yesterday, and I bought more. All right, we came, actually it hit it on the 20th. Unfortunately, I got too caught up, and yesterday morning when it pulled down to the 27.70 is when I bought. So a few people bought it, and it's moving up nicely today. What is that? It's at 31 now. So pretty good move off the 200 moving average there on JMIA. All right. All seem to have positive movement, nice volume since yesterday. David, yes. I mean everything. It's not so much just those tickers that you mentioned had a nice volume yesterday. Everything across the board got either a short covering or a big pop due to the market moving. Everything was green. Not so much. It doesn't necessarily mean when things like that happen. When an entire market is significantly green, it doesn't really speak anything in regards to the actual ticker's name. It's not like they had positive news. It's not like they've really done anything different. It's just, there was a huge movement in the sector and the market, and that alongside that, a lot of these names moved with it, right? So, I mean, as far as positive movement, are they reversing? Are they going to continue reversing? Again, it's really hard to tell, but PLTR still holding that $22 area as good support. Moving averages are still acting as resistance, right? We hit the 50-day moving average and rejected. This is why short-term moving averages are so important. On the daily, you will see rejection on these levels almost every single time. Do you think Riot is a good price right now, short term? I don't think Riot is a good price. I don't think Riot is a good price. I don't think Mara is a good price. I'm not a fan of these tickers currently because they are all under the short-term moving averages. Could you buy them here and they shoot up to 51? Yeah, of course you can. But you could also try catching a falling knife, right? This is the first time Riot, Mara, all those crypto names have been under the 20 and the 50-day moving average, right? If the stock was strong, they would have stayed above it. Look at this. From November last year, it stayed above these two moving averages. It stayed above it. It stayed above it. When things started getting kind of wild, you can see that we're now losing the 20, pushing back up, trying to break the 50, pushing back up, making lower highs, and then boom, right? We broke under it. I don't have it. There's no entry for this. Everyone keeps talking about Mara and Riot. Should I buy Mara? Mara is at its low point. Guys, you're falling into the same style of trading that you did with, for example, SNDL, right? It shot up to 490 and it dipped to $3. Everyone's like, oh my god, it's a buy. It shot down here, everyone's like, oh my god, it's a buy. It shot down here, everyone's like, oh my god, it's a buy. But obviously, it's just losing strength. It doesn't not necessarily mean it's a buy, right? Same thing with Mara and Riot. Mara under the 20 and the 50-day moving average, right? First time that we have three candles that closed under those moving averages, right? This has support at around 28.50, right? So could you trade this? Yeah, you could trade it, but there is no specific pattern in it, right? You can get entries maybe around 35. You're gonna risk about 6 points to possibly make around, sorry, not 6 points. You're gonna risk around 6 points to possibly make around $5, right? So that's to me, it's not a good risk reward. Maybe if it pulls down to 28 and you start seeing price action kind of curl around, you can maybe take it for a $2 risk for an upside of around $9-10. Other than that, these two moving averages are going to act as resistance on these names. Do you think we talked about Riot? All right, can you evaluate X? Let's take a look at X. So United States Steel Corp. So this has actually been fairly strong in the last few months, right? Nice support right here at 20.02. Struggling right now, currently above these moving averages. The only issue with this stock right now is one, it kind of seems like it's forming a head and shoulders, which is a bearish sign. On April 30th, it has earnings. Ideally, what you would want this to see is kind of form and get above this 24.40 area. If you want to trade it here, you could trade it here with stops at around 20 or around 18.50. Also, another stock that moves, it's got room to go, but you need to have at least this is 2 points, possibly a 350 stop for around a 230 reward, and then above that 450, right? So it's kind of stuck in this range right now. You could try here with stops at around 20 or 18 to targets of around 24, 28. But again, chart is a little bit choppy at this point. No clear direction, and it's just going sideways currently. Yes, unemployment job numbers should have been out already at 8:30. I'll take a look at them after this. BNGO. So another one that just losing momentum, right? So here's another example. And again, in comparison to Mara and Riot, right? We have a huge move, it dips, everyone's like, oh my god, it's a buy now, right? It's a buy now, right? But there's no buying signal here. It's just a massive dip. Unless you're a long-term investor, there's no buying in here. If you're a short-term investor, then you're looking at technicals. If you're a long-term investor, you're looking at fundamentals. So if you're a short-term investor, then this is not a buy. Under the 20-day moving average, falls below it, people are like, oh my god, it's a buy. No, it's not a buy, because again, now you're under the 20 and the 50-day moving average. So what happens? These moving averages act as resistance. We roll right over, pop back up. What do you know? 20-day moving average, boom, resistance, and here we are again. What do I think about it here? I don't think it's done. I think ultimately this falls right down towards this 390 area, and that's where it's going to have to show its face. It's coming up to support at 390, right? We have right here 390, right? We have support. By that time, it'll line up with the 200-day moving average, and it's going to be a make it or break it moment for BNGO, right? If it cannot hold this level, we're going to fall right back down to Pennyland, and it's sayonara for this stock, right? Will I buy it here? No. Did I buy it here? No. Did I buy it here? No. Did I buy it here? Possibly. I actually think we traded this. We traded this on the breakout of this right to here, right? But why? Because it was above moving averages. It had a bullish pennant, and we traded this, right? So a few people made money on this one, and then when the game plan was done, there's nothing else. So I'm not gonna touch this. I'm not even gonna look at this. Maybe if it gets to 390, some of you can try trading this with stops tight at around $3.50, $3 for a possible reversal to happen. Other than that, nothing really there. Kenny check space short. The space short flow, just check it on Finviz. Go to finviz.com, type SPCE, and it'll tell you the short float on SPCE. Is MGNI a buy again? I don't even have to look at the stock, and I can already tell you I know the answer to this. There you go, right? Under 200-day, under the 20 and the 50 moving average, had strength before, no longer has strength. Moving averages acting as resistance, closed under the 50-day moving average. 20 days resistance, 20 days resistance. Here we are, pop back up to 20-day moving average, most likely roll over. The only time you guys have to consider taking a trade on any of these things that are just falling off, you have to reclaim the short-term moving averages, right? That's all there is to it. Unless you're going to trade this, maybe, short-term, intraday, or day trade it. Other than that, there's really not much there. This could pop up. You have to understand, if you're going to trade this and you think it's going to continue higher, you have to have tight stops, right? So if you got in yesterday, you have to have stops at least the prior day's low, because what happens if this breaks? There's really nothing here. So this area right here is support on the stock, 33.43, right? We came down here, we bounced higher, right? And it coincidentally lines up with this area right here. So this $33 area is pretty decent support, right? If you want to trade the support bounce, you should have gotten on this day. You should have gotten in the morning, and you should have had stops right around 20, right under 33, right? That's the support bounce, right? If you played the support bounce here, well done. You made a nice move. You should have took profits into the moving averages, right? If you're going to try to attempt this again at the support bounce, then you should have got in yesterday and hopefully make a pop towards this 39.70 area, take your profits and be done with it. Because this could reject and then roll over. And if that breaks, this is coming straight down to around $22, which again, coincidentally lines with the 200-day moving average. Edgar, DVN. So DVN, this thing just came down a little bit here. Unfortunately, I was in this trade and I held on a little bit because I had my stops a little bit wider. But I had a decent day yesterday. I don't really know if this is going to come back to 22. It should come back to 22 because a 20-day moving average is there. Resistance is there. Should see a pop back towards that 22 area, but it really needs to get back above the 22 excuse me, in order for it to continue higher. Broke down below the 20 and the 50-day moving average, which isn't what I was really looking for. The pattern broke out and then failed over. So unfortunately, this needs to get back above 22 in order for it to move any higher. What do you think about the UiPath IPO? I don't know anything about the UiPath IPO. Thoughts on resistance for AMAT? Let's take a look at losing my voice here. Let's take a look at AMAT. The 137.14 would probably be the resistance on AMAT. Currently sitting at 135 pre-market. All right, so strong name, very strong name. I missed a trade on this one when it broke out of this prior 122 high, came back, retested it, and just took off. Didn't really give much of an entry, but it's a little bit of a pricier stock, and yeah, so 137 is the first resistance. Above that, you're looking at around 141 on AMAT. Thank you. What about OCGN 50-day resistance? OCGN. So same sort of idea here. OCGN. It had some news about the COVID vaccine or whatever. Some people are like in love with it now because of that news. Again, major bag holder chart currently. 751 will be major resistance. Look where it popped up to the 20-day moving average and saw some rejection there, right? So here we are right now, currently sitting at 661 pre-market. I believe this moved up a little bit higher yesterday after hours. Yeah, so look where it came up to, right? 743. That 750 area is the resistance level. If it pushes back up here and does not get above the 750 today, it's going to roll right back over. If it gets above 750, room to 820 on this one, possibly a day trade opportunity on that. Otherwise, I wouldn't hold this for like a reversal pattern unless it gets above that 830 or the 50-day moving average. All right, guys, so it's 8:58. I'm going to do this win. If you guys are tuning in, make sure you smash the like button. And we'll remember that every Thursday we are live on YouTube. Win, same thing here. Pretty good strong day again yesterday, but again, every stock had that strong day yesterday. The real thing for this is it going to get up to what 20-day and 50-day moving average, and is it going to break out of that and continue higher, right? Currently, higher high, lower high. Will it make another lower high? If so, then the momentum is going to be die on this, and it's going to roll right over. It could roll over down towards this 117 area, which is the level that will need to hold in order for it to continue higher. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Just remember that every Thursday we are live here. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me on Discord or TikTok, wherever you guys are, and I'll answer all your questions. As far as today goes, make sure you understand the levels on the market. Keep your eyes on the market and the QQQ, and understand that you got to kind of follow these in order for you to really see what's really going on with the market. You can't be trading blindly. You need to know what's going on around you and what the market sentiment is. All right, guys. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I will catch you guys all next Thursday at 8:30 a.m.